It has all been coming down to this.
We gotta turn big dreams into action. We gotta mix action with the passion.
Oh my word! What an incredible moment!
We gotta turn big dreams into action. We gotta mix action with the passion. Time short, no time for relaxing. Be the first and last out, make it happen. We gotta turn big dreams into action. We gotta mix action with the passion. Time short, no time for relaxing.
Without further ado, let's get rolling!
What up, people? Welcome back to the BSC Monthly Finals, where we've just gotten these first two Grand Finals behind us. See ya, India. See ya, SEA. It's time for East Asia, where we're going to be going through those semifinals and then the Grand Finals at the end of the day. It's going to be super exciting, Trav. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, it always is, right? This region is at the top of Brawl Stars for so many years now. We saw a little bit of a falter on the global stage, but it's been pretty much more of the same here in this region.
Yeah, I mean, things have been fairly consistent. We'll get to check in with how things have been going so far this year, with Crazy Raccoon firmly in the lead, but only 40 points ahead of Reject, who have actually gotten some good chops in this year so far. Aphelion Esports and Chasmac Gaming EA leading closely behind in number 3 and number 4. Some pretty good teams also in the top 8, but our main main characters of the story are here in the top 4, and we'll be getting to check in with them today. Crazy Raccoon is one that a lot of us have been paying close attention to, boasting some seriously accomplished members in this region that have made it to the World Finals grand stage numerous times.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a big day for Chasmac as well, because we don't see Aphelion Esports here today in the top 4, and Chasmac Gaming, it's a tall order, but if they beat Crazy Raccoon, they're going to be getting some serious points on the board and possibly taking that number 3 spot. So they really do need a big performance today here against Crazy Raccoon to start things off.
Right, well, that's going to be determined by their performance later today, but of course, there was stuff leading up to this point. We've already played the quarterfinals where we saw Crazy Raccoon, Chasmac Gaming, EA Reject, and 3R Gaming making it some good moves in their Aphelion Esports. Unfortunately, we won't get to check in with them today, and 3R Gaming will be taking their well-earned spot. But still, we'll see Crazy Raccoon and Chasmac Gaming EA up as a first match of the day, and this one, I think, is going to be a very entertaining match, Trev.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, right. Like, Chasmac Gaming EA, they're sitting down there in 4th with Crazy Raccoon in 1st. It's a pretty well-seeded bracket. It played out as planned for them, but Chasmac, it's going to be a very tough game for them. They've obviously got the talent and the rosters extremely capable of making this upset, but at the moment, Crazy Raccoon, they've won the majority of the monthly finals in this region, so they're always the team that people are going to be scared of over here in this sub-region. But I'm not saying there's not a chance for Chasmac Gaming. You know, they need this win. When everything's on the line, you've got to pull through at some point.
Okay, so a quick history lesson, and now the present. Now let's think about the future. Predictions time. If you want to submit your predictions, which you should, go to event.brawlstars.com, and we'll also share our predictions here to help you out with your homework just a little bit, but you can get some good rewards and goodies by submitting your predictions there on the event platform. Predictions for today: I expect Crazy Raccoon to go all the way, and I expect Reject to do pretty well too. I mean, clearly the front runners in both of their matches.
Yeah, you've got the same as me ready. I locked it down on event.brawlstars.com already, and at the moment, I'm doing pretty well. So we'll see if it continues on throughout these. I went for Crazy Raccoon and Reject again. I think Crazy Raccoon will probably go all the way and take the monthly final, but they've got competition all the way through, and it starts here against Chasmac Gaming EA. Tensai Shisampo Moy versus Kenji Kuru and IC. Let's start with this Crazy Raccoon roster, obviously, because they have been at the forefront of competitive for many years now.
They certainly have, and they're keeping that streak going, only faltering on like a couple of occasions, and they're still looking strong. Tensai, Shitampo, Moya, really a dream team in this region. Now, they, like we said, have stumbled a little bit in the BSC. They're looking incredibly strong, and from month to month, you never exactly know what's been going on. What's up, Tensai? How you doing? And good luck today, because they got some pretty fierce opponents awaiting them on the other side.
Yeah, drinking that ice-cold water for his ice-cold veins. And, I mean, he's going to need him today against Chasmac Gaming EA, Kenji, Kuru, and IC. A very well-seasoned roster. IC came in from that Sunny Tin roster of the previous month, but Kenji and Kuru, we know them, we love them, and we know they're capable of an upset.
Well, okay, Tensai's got ice in the veins, but he's not quite IC, who over here doesn't seem to see anything except for his forearm, but that's him on the cam. It's IC, and IC had some things to say leading up to this as well, and this was quite entertaining. Chasmac Gaming EA, I mean, as a team, just leave IC to speak for the team. Tired of watching Crazy Raccoon win. Leave it to me. Now, mind you, this is translated from Japanese. Leave it to our boys Google Translate to help us out there, but I will say, overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. We'll see if Chasmac Gaming EA are able to pull this one out. I'm excited to see how this showdown goes.
I mean, the thing is as well, I'm excited to see how they do play, because confidence against Crazy Raccoon, it's a big thing. You know, a lot of the teams that face them coming into this one, and they don't really feel confident, and that definitely puts them on a bit of a downer straight away, and that's not what you want to do. You want to be coming in on a high against Crazy Raccoon, really playing the best you can with, you know, as Eftor said a little bit earlier, the mental is a big part of sports, and it's a big part of esports as well. So we'll see if they're able to kind of keep this this mentality that he did tweet out all the way through.
I'm excited to see how things pan out for these guys today. I mean, confidence is absolutely huge. Whether it's overconfidence, we'll find out with the verdict of this match. But we've already put forth our predictions. We expect a Crazy Raccoon victory. But, I mean, this is very, very bold from IC. He's on the camera, and he's also the newest addition to this roster. So maybe he knows something that we don't, but it's got me real, real excited for this one to get started.
He's definitely going to need to know something as well. That's the thing, you know. When we first saw his camera, he wasn't looking the happiest, but now he's starting to look a little bit better, getting into the rhythm of facing Crazy Raccoon. And, you know, as you say, he's the newest player to this roster. They clearly saw something in him when he played last month on that Sunny Tin roster. So we'll see if, you know, his clear abilities are able to shine through this Chasmac Gaming roster as much as it did in the previous months.
Well, of course, one of the first places that I look for Chasmac Gaming EA to take down this real roster of Titans has got to be the draft, because the draft seems to have a much, well, I think objectively, right? We've seen enough Brawl stars to know this for sure. It has far more weighting on the outcome of the game than the actual mechanics of the game themselves. Okay, predictions are through, and y'all voted 25% in favor of Chasmac Gaming EA, 75% for Crazy Raccoon. That's about what we'd expect. Chasmac Gaming EA, the clear underdogs here, but not in their own eyes, at least not IC.
Yeah, well, we are going to have some different maps, starting things off on Safe Zone as well, on Heist. So a little bit of a ranged affair on Heist, rather than that kind of mess that we saw on Pit Stop with a lot of those 1v1 matchups deciding the game. 8-Bit is going to be the first pick coming out of Chasmac Gaming EA. I do like it with Brock Band, Penny Band. It just doesn't really leave a lot to take down that turret. And obviously as well, we did see that Bell Band, but we're going to see the Piper as a first pick. The 1v1 matchup against the 8-Bit is pretty good. When he gets the turret though, it can be done in pretty much one push, so it's going to have to be control all the way through from Crazy Raccoon.
All right, squeak selection from Crazy Raccoon. One of those brawlers that I really expect to be selected here is Colette, and you saw just a moment ago, aggregated across a lot of matches, in fact, all of them from the last month. Colette has a 72% win rate, and she's kind of a hard counter to the 8-Bit, so maybe they're saving this for their last pick and hoping not to get countered out on that Colette. Typically, she can have a lot of trouble versus long-range brawlers, so Crazy Raccoon, one more selection left. The 8-Bit can be kind of troublesome. Stetampo on this Piper can also get it done. We'll see how they also put up some resilience versus Kuru on the Carl can be really troublesome. He only has 3 gadgets, but he gets the work done with those. Jesse, final selection from Crazy Raccoon. This brawler is seeing a lot more play recently, and I think sort of the idea here might be, let's make contact with the turret, bounce it off 8-Bit, or vice versa.
I'm really liking this Chasmac comp, I won't lie. I think it does look on face value a little bit better. You know, obviously Piper's going to have a decent matchup against 8-Bit early on, but, you know, Crow and Carl, if they're managing to go aggressive, we're not really going to be able to see that much from the Squeak and the Jesse. If a Carl's going to fly and hook towards you, you're not really going to be able to survive that long. That goes for Piper as well, but she does have jumps, so she'll have something to get away, but for the rest of them, I don't feel too confident.
All right, well, final swaps getting in here as we prepare for Safe Zone. Probably going to see this 8-Bit mid here. I'd be incredibly shocked if we don't. Tensai going to take that mid role as well, and Moya looking for control on the right. He actually has quite a bit of resilience versus Carl here. Has a good amount of damage output too. Can just keep him pretty much locked in that area on the right side as long as the teammates don't peel for him. Pretty slimy moves from Kuro on the left side too. Walking back and forth super rapidly. Everyone just playing for control here. Good taps from Tensai though. Force 8-Bit back. And Crazy Raccoon might be the ones to get the first bit damage on the safe.
Yeah, Tempo looking for some bounces on Kuru towards that safe. Looking for Kenji now as well, but I see just holding this right hand side. You see Tensai breaking up that wall to give him a little bit more maneuverability against Kenji here, and that's probably what's needed for this Piper. I see still choosing to stay passive, stay off that, but I mean, obviously Tensai doesn't have the auto aimer because we've seen that Hermit Resp come out of him already, connects 3 shots instantly onto Kenji and pushes him back straight away. Tempo's going to get slowed down, but I see still choosing to stay passive and not go aggressive. Surprising to see, but he is quite low.
All right, turret in, immediate destruction. Chasmac Gaming EA were absolutely prepared for that one. And Icy tries to push in, but doesn't really fully commit. No super, no gadget, just slowly moving forward, perhaps keeping Moya pinned in this area on the right side. Icy gradually working his way back up to the position, and a nice snipe from Tensai to send Kenji packing and continuously force things back. But Kuru refuses to budge. He's got good dodges. He seems to be on... Never mind, I take it right back. Leave it to the caster to curse the game here as Crazy Raccoon get a nice snipe there at mid. Another one on the right side. And look once more to push onto the safe.
Yeah, IC goes down. We're going to see a little bit more coming in from Jesse now as well, but a great slow there. And now the flying hook comes through, gets the kill, gets the turret down as well. And CMG start to affirm themselves in this mid. Kuru gets hit though, and Kenji's going to go down. Shots from Moya to bring this turret to its knees. IC down this left-hand side can have a squeak super coming his way, but actually manages to avoid it all, I'm pretty sure there. But Sampo's going to come in and sweep him up against the pinch of that super. Closer than it was before, but still, we see a slight lead for Crazy Raccoon.
30 seconds remain. There's no cheat code for this one. Chasmac Gaming EA just got to push up slowly and carefully without allowing anyone into their area. Tempo down. Big jump in from Kuru. Tensai's going to have to jump forward. This is what we're talking about. He tries to make it onto that safe. He's got to power through 8-bit first. 8 seconds left, and he can get some damage in here. IC with a final pickaxe swings away. 3 seconds left. 64 on Chasmac Gaming EA safe, and the body blocks are good. Chasmac Gaming EA take the very first game.
I mean, that was a good performance from them. They waited for the moment, they got the flying hook in when they both slowed, and they could use the gadgets in unison. It really was a wonderful thing to see from CMG, and that's what I mean, you know, they're really shining through, and maybe Icy's confidence was warranted in this one, because that start is not something you see every day against a team like Crazy Raccoon, who are usually so calm, composed, and come in looking strong.
Seems like really the health from 8-bit, the health from Carl are helping them out a lot here. Crazy Raccoon also, look how they're adapting to this as well. They allow a little bit of damage on the save. Actually, Icy's able to get the kill. Just, yeah, smack that pickaxe off the wall, get a few more shots, and 77% dealt so far, and Kenji moves over to the right lane. Tensai's going to take advantage of the situation. A few shots popped into that enemy safe. A takedown into Kenji as well. Brings us back to a 2v2. Chasmac Gaming EA lead by a decent margin so far, 6%. It's a big difference considering how little damage we saw in the early game in the last game.
Yeah, definitely a bit more scrappy this time, but Kuru being pretty slimy, and I'm doing the same as you now. I'm doing the same as you, Reddy. As soon as I say something, he goes down, but not without some good control. Wonderful play from IC coming in, gets the shot towards Tensai. The spin on safe, and he's still there as well. Pipe is even going to choose to leave him, and Moya's going to come in and sweep that one up on defense, but not without a lot of damage, and he's not stopping there. 70% dealt, and it's just not matched yet by Crazy Raccoon.
Plenty of time left on the clock, but it looks like Chasmac Gaming EA might chew through this safe without even letting it hit zero. IC's going to try and get forward. He's all out of gadgets, but it doesn't even matter. The teamwork so far from CMG is proving to be so overpowering. Kuru even jumps in. Big damage from Kenji, and the walls are broken open on the left. It's a perfect avenue for IC to super right up to the safe, and the final bullet comes in from Kenji. Chasmac Gaming EA just like that. Trounce Crazy Raccoon in the very first set, leaving no room for questioning their domination so far. I must say, maybe it wasn't overconfidence. He just knows that well. I see that is maybe the seeing that he's doing is a bit of clairvoyance. He already knows how this one's going to turn out. But set number 1 done and dusted. 0-2 for Crazy Raccoon.
I mean, I don't know about you, Reddy. I'll ask you, do you think it was the draft? Because I just don't. I didn't really have faith in that draft coming in, and just from the start, Chasmac's looked that little bit better, and I don't think that, you know, Ciara ever going to be out-mechanicked, so I think we've kind of got to put it down to the draft, right?
I'm tempted to say the draft, too. I think that there were some areas where Crazy Raccoon could have decided, yeah, we're going to counter out some of these brawlers on the name of team, and kind of decided not to. The Piper is a big one for me, simply because Piper, she's not actually that versatile. She can get some wall break in there, sure, but in close range, she's not really going to do that much. I will say also The 8-bit, it went completely uncounted, with the exception of the Jessie. Okay, I'll give kudos there, but I think something like Colette, which was not banned, was entirely pickable, was left open. Well, we'll leave it to the pros really to decide what they want to pick, but a win for Chasmac Gaming EA definitely suggests that something different needed to go on with that Crazy Raccoon draft.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the stats as well, look how in favor of Crazy Raccoon is. That is the thing. And Tensai getting so much DPS, but just not the DPS on the safe. And I think this is kind of classic outdraft from Chasmac Gaming EA here, because no matter all the kills and damage the Crazy Raccoon got, it just wasn't enough to bring Chasmac Gaming down. And obviously, we saw the Carl being left on the safe throughout that second game, and it just did 70% pretty much alone, which is a big, big thing for it to do. So, need to see a little bit of a change from Crazy Raccoon. Maybe need some reparations to be made. But we're heading on to Crystal Arcade in Gem Grab, and this is probably where they've got to make their stand. A 0-2 doesn't look too good.
Yeah, and I will say also, this map, at least in my opinion, is a little bit more complicated with the draft than Safe Zone. There's some pretty clear-cut brawlers and clear counters when it comes to Safe Zone. Now, gets a little bit more interesting. You can shove a brawler into one of those bushes, have him try and stay there for the entire game. You can break open the bushes. Chasmac Gaming EA are incredibly aware of this. They've decided to get rid of the stew and also get rid of that roughs as well. Two brawlers that can break open walls, so maybe they'll decide to play around this sort of dynamic. Crazy Raccoon have also decided to ban out the Nita and also ban out the Shelly. Cordelia's also making an appearance in their ban phase. They got 2, 3 in the pick phase. What do they go with?
Yeah, you can't really blame them for wanting to get rid of Cordelius and Shelly, to be fair. Especially with first pick going the way of the opposite team and Squeak going to be their first pick. I like it. Obviously, the residue's pretty solid down here. They're going to go with Tara as their second as well. I don't mind that either. Obviously, the support from Beyond's pretty good against the Crow. Being able to tank a lot, get the control, and then if you just manage to keep that control and stay out of Crow's range, you know, weave back and forward instead of side to side against that Crow, then you can do quite a lot of work. But depending where it is played, that Tara's going to be good against, you know, the future picks of some tanks as well.
All right. Knowing East Asia as a region, do we see them go for the same picks as last time? Probably not the 8-bit, but I would definitely see IC playing that Carl again. He seemed to do a pretty good job on it. And Kuru also did a fairly good job of playing that Crow, which is more than likely, well, now that I see the Gus pick coming through, I'm beginning to question it. I could see Crow being a very viable mid option. Chasmac Gaming EA now with the Gus, a very strong brawler right now. A lot of people would consider him simply one of the top 5 best brawlers in the game at the moment. He's simply so strong. Paired up with the Carl, he could be a deadly force. Carl, I think, could also do well versus a Squeak and swing through some of the shades that Tara usually has to offer. Barley is their choice, though. Another good way of dealing with Tara, and I think also that versus Shetampo on that Squeak is going to be pretty effective. Just leaves them open to some counters.
Yeah, I mean, with the Crow, it kind of stops some of the aggression from coming in, but I feel like you've still kind of got to go with something aggressive if you're Crazy Raccoon. Maybe they'll even go for that Carl. I mean, Carl not the best into the Tara, so I can see why Chasmac chooses not to play it, but Crazy Raccoon is definitely still available for them, and, you know, I wouldn't mind playing that Squeak through the mid, play, oh, they can hit the Gene through the mid, Squeak down the lane. I don't hate it, but I also don't really love it either.
Yeah, I mean, well, what I will say for just Brawl Stars draft theory, if we can call it that, usually you don't save your last pick for your mid, but they didn't really have a mid brawler up until this point, so this is an interesting tactic taken by Crazy Raccoon, but I definitely think it's a good choice for them, especially to deal with Barley, which I think was going to be basically the antithesis to the couple of brawlers that they had selected so far. So I think this is a pretty good approach from Crazy Raccoon. Be able to chip away the damage from Gus, just won't be able to pump out as much damage, which is where they might falter, where they'll have to lean on Shetampo and Tensai to close in on those lanes. Win lane, win game. See how Crazy Raccoon can put this into play.
Yeah, and it seems like at the moment Tensai's not winning that lane, which I understand is very difficult against the Barley, but therefore they might not be winning the game. Shetampo did place a residue down early on, and pretty much still only 50-50 on that great pinch coming in from Kuru, and the team play we're seeing come out of Chasmac Gaming today is really unparalleled from what we're seeing from Crazy Raccoon. Even the shades are coming down, and it's not going to do that much. Tara rotates over to that left-hand side, but I still don't think Squeak's going to be able to do that much against Barley still.
And it's going to be frustrating. Kenji does get tagged once, though. He has to get hit 3 times total. Nice pull from Moya around the left side. He's already looking to farm up the next one. 6 gems over Kuru's head. Let's also note Barley only has 1 healing herbal tonic left. And he's going to have to really stretch this one out. Chasmac Gaming EA, they also sort of fall into the back foot, but with all of those bushes and walls broken open on the left side, IC has a massive advantage. Big plays, and he survives, and the Herbal Tonic goes down. There's a lot more Brawl Stars left to be played, and with Moya holding on to this super, it's a dangerous game. Kenji tries to bait it, but Moya doesn't bite. With Shtetampo on that squeak all the way around the right side is a serious threat. The countdown's active. IC's going to get taken down too, and Kuru cannot afford to go pick these up. Big damage in, and Shtetampo gets the take. No, never mind. Kuru only barely stayed alive before getting taken down from the smoke, and Crazy Raccoon now has the advantage.
Finally, someone who's still using this squeak star power. Yeah, I love the slow, and like it's not terrible. I don't know why more people don't use it, but he's using that super again and actually going to get the trade out there against IC. Gem picked up there by Kenji. Just doesn't want to waste a pull on someone with only one gem. Oh, max range. He finds it anyway. 9 gems there now. Make it 10. Pull coming through from Tensai. Not hitting, which might be a bit of an issue for the future, but it's 10-7, so they don't need to stay in this mid.
Oh, that pull got a gasp out of me. Chasmac Gaming EA really got a lot of ground to cover. They got some good damage. Need to take down Moya somehow. IC doesn't have enough DPS to make it work. Kuru tries to pipe in and does manage to get it. He's slowed, and the shield slowly trickles away. A whole lot of gems for Tensai. A treasure trove on the back lines as he seeks cover. Perhaps in the back left corner, IC expertly avoids these, but he doesn't have that jump that he needs to get the kill. Kuru also sort of evacuating things on the right side, and it's a split decision. Tensai out of sight, fully in their heads, rent-free. A game 1 victory within set number 2 for Crazy Raccoon.
I will say though, like Chasmac, they looked good for the most part. That pull was definitely, even though it was 1 gem, and I was even questioning whether he wanted to go for that 1 gem pull. It was a big turning point. You know, they got the control back from that and onto the gem, and another one spawned, so they got the countdown from it as well. But it was a much better start for Chasmac, but Crazy Raccoon just played the ending that bit better.
Well, let's see if they're able to play the beginning just as well as they did last time. Have to have good economy with some of those healing herbal tonics. An easy first victory on the left side for Kenji, but they had to be cautious about feeding these supers. It was totally their undoing in the last game. 1 pull after the next, and Moya's looking for another one versus Kuru. He completely concealed the fact that he had that super too. He was incredibly sneaky. The Crazy Raccoon already a 6-0 gem advantage. Kenji's going for something big though. Here's the last call around the right side. Some damage in versus Moya. He also keeps Tensai at bay on the back line. Still though, just no touching Moya. He's completely secured by Shtetampo and the terrain to his advantage as well.
I mean, Kenji is completely cooking Tensai here, which I understand is what's meant to happen, but now Moya coming across for the pull. Kenji's going to go down. Great pinch coming in from those two. Kuru, 3 gems in hand. Moya might just take a bit of a gamble pull here. He's going to be able to find him at some point, and he's still... It's right. The auto aim didn't hit, but still, they get the kill. Pull comes through from Tensai, and the 1 gem in mid will start the count, but Tensai picked up another anyway, and Crazy Raccoon looking confident in this second one.
It's always the most crucial moments where auto aim on the gene pull fails you, but Moya, Tensai, and Shtetampo have a pretty good defense over here to keep this one locked in. 2 seconds remain, and Kenji is all the way out of range. A nice lock-in from Crazy Raccoon to speed us through set number 2. Yeah, the smile's there from Tensai. I wonder if that's at all related to the gene pulls, because yeah, that was funny, and you get to laugh at those kind of things and take a deep breath as long as you get the set victory.
I mean, yeah, you understand you can laugh at that when you're so far ahead in that game, right? Like, the pull was there for the taking. I'm pretty sure it was like the only tile he could be in without being scouted, but still, that auto aim just looks too attractive sometimes, and you've got to just go for it if you're not feeling too confident in mechanically hitting that pull. But Moya obviously did miss it. We saw some good things from CMG again. They had their moments, especially Kenji winning that matchup quite convincingly. Almost had a bit of a turnaround here, but there was just no escape in there as he was slowed down, and Kuru not finding that pull definitely was the big play in the second game there for Crazy Raccoon.
Really nice set here for Crazy Raccoon. I mean, you could tell just how much momentum Chasmac Gaming EA were coming into this one with, how confidently they played, how well they strategized going into it too. I mean, I think really their undoing was the gene pulls, and then also missing out on some of that herbal tonic as they were lacking it towards the end. The stats from Crazy Raccoon also tell a similar story, but let's keep in mind it was the same deal in set number 1, and guess who took a win there? So Chasmac Gaming EA, I think, need to lean on the draft a little bit to get them their edge, and I liked their draft here. It was just the gene, the mid last pick. You just don't see it often, and it was a good strat for for Crazy Raccoon to pull this one out. But with 2 wins for Crazy Raccoon in a row, all right, I'm getting bored. I'm tired of seeing the Crazy Raccoon wins. Let's see what Chasmac Gaming EA has to say in set 3.
I mean, they're going to need to pull out something, as I imagine he's going to get a lot of heat for that tweet, to be honest with you, because if you're that confident against Crazy Raccoon, you better believe you have something to back it up. First set looked like they did, but second set, not so much. Chrome not having the easiest times there for Icy either, and I mean, it's pretty clear that Crazy Raccoon play for the statistics and play for the wins through that. You know, kills, everything are on their side, so they get the kills and then play it through that way, rather than just kind of a more objective-focused gameplay, I'd say, from Chasmac Gaming so far, at least, as they didn't have the stats on the side, even when they won the set, and still when they lose it as well. So Crazy Raccoon answering back quite nicely, but we're heading over to open zone in hot zone here, and I won't say I like this map, but it's another one where I feel like maybe Chasmac can pull something through if the comp's right.
I mean, you're taking the words right out of my mouth here, because not only is this very comp dependent, as with any map, sure, but hot zone is also one of those modes where you can afford to have lower stats, but as long as you play the objective better, then yeah, you just kind of win. It's effective to win your lanes by eliminating enemy brawlers. Oh man, and the Pam already coming out from Chasmac Gaming EA. Maybe taking a tankiness approach, pulling out some of the healers here. I like the Bell response. Good for dealing with turrets as long as those aren't stowed nice and safe behind some walls. We'll see if Chasmac Gaming EA picks up yet another healer. That would make them extremely tanky here at mid.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, I like the Bell return pick. It's going to need some connections, but Jesse coming through again. Didn't work for them in safe zone. Maybe it will do in open zone now. So back to Chasmac Gaming for their 2 last picks. Obviously with the bans, no Cordelius, no Shelly, which is the main 2 out of the way. But Squeak was a big player in Crazy Raccoon's success, so I don't blame them for banning that one out. Probably a smart idea from Chasmac Gaming, but they have this tankiness early on. Maybe they want to kind of pivot for some range now to be able to deal with the Jesse a little bit easier. But we should see any second now. And I mean, Crazy Raccoon, I like what they've got so far. We're going to see the Amber burning down some of those bushes and obviously burning through the Jesse turret as well. But if it gets placed behind that wall, it can be a bit difficult to deal with.
Yeah, it's really frustrating to deal with because Amber, she's not really great for peeking those shots. Each one of those does basically negligible damage. It's really only once you get hit by a barrage of them, the flamethrower, that things start to fall into place. But otherwise, a very good pick here because you're able to burn the bushes really easily. You pretty much get your super for free too by popping down a gadget and having the correct star power equipped. We'll see what their final selection is though. The Stew, I think, is a pretty solid selection. Avoid a lot of that damage. I think maybe at first they were thinking about a strategy where they stick relatively close together, benefit from the group healing plan, if you want to refer to it as that. Maybe a little bit of Poco action in here, but with the Bell and the Jesse awaiting them on the other side, they need to stay pretty far apart.
I actually kind of like Chasmac's comp here. You know, when I saw the Pam first pick, I'm not sure if it's first pick for me, but the way they pivoted to this comp I actually kind of like. But we see a Poco coming out of Crazy Raccoon now. I don't think it's got the best synergy with the 2 brawlers because you don't really want a Jesse or a Bell on the front lines kind of battling out and have the Poco behind them. But you know, there's not that much DPS other than kind of an Amber who doesn't have the burst needed to bring a Poco down. So I like the pick, but I still have faith that Chasmac are going to be able to pull something through.
I think the Amber-Poco interaction is going to fall vastly in Amber's favor, but that's where Tensai and Xiaotampo have to come in this region, especially Crazy Raccoon as a roster. They seem to ebb and flow, just really liquid when it comes to some of these interactions, swapping lanes, swapping roles, and covering for each other. The synergy of these guys is unmatched. Or is it? Chasmac Gaming EA are going to try and match that energy and likely supersede it. We'll see if they're built for that task. Crazy Raccoon with the easy and quick take of that mid. Xiaotampo out here with some of the spins too. Kenji looking for some value here as well. Moya popping that gadget to stay alive, but feeds the super to Kuru. Bit of healing for the guys and a takedown, and one by one they seem to fall like dominoes. Moya actually avoids death though, at least for a little bit longer. Some fire fuel down the left side is going to be threatening for Xiaotampo, but he's still playing around it intelligently. Kuru and Kenji in a threatening position. Looked like almost a kill onto Kenji as well, but the verdict is the same. It's a Crazy Raccoon retake of mid.
I'm also not sure if IC's playing the slowdown with the Mythic gear. I didn't see ЧЕМПИОНАТ really getting much slower there, so we'll see if he throws this one down and it happens again. But Kenji now getting some shots around the right side. Nice pinch in, the burn comes through, but heal instantly in a gadget from Moya. But good takedown. Scraps are coming out of Kuru here now as well. Sliding in and out of this this Pam turret to keep him alive, but not obviously feeding too much towards this Jesse. Kenji coming aggressive, and he really is the person who's making the moves on the side of Chasmac Gaming, but with no super now, it might become a bit harder.
All that healing from Moya in the early game gave them so much control, and now they're earning it back the hard way without the tuning fork from Moya. Tensai and Moya are both on very low health. Kuru gets caught up in all the action too. Bit of healing for Kenji, but they're nearing the point of no return. They, of course, being Crazy Raccoon all over this point. And a takedown to IC might seal the deal as Tensai and Shtetampo continue to populate this point as the final bits percentage begin to roll in. 98% is where it will lay for just a moment longer, unless Chasmac Gaming EA are somehow able to put up the correct fight.
So we've seen it before, but I don't think we'll see it again. Poco's going to be walking up, has to heal as well, heals up his teammates, walk on and get the job done. Crazy Raccoon take game number 1 of open zone here, and you know, after dropping the first set, they've really kind of turned things around and came back a lot stronger. So if they can do more of the same again, that's going to be the 2-1-2 Crazy Raccoon, but sure Chasmac will have something to say about it. I feel like they just don't really have the damage to be able to bring them down at this range, and it's difficult for them.
My thoughts too, because Crazy Raccoon, they have these tuning forks to pop off early and often. And even though they do use them up pretty quickly in the early game, seems like in the late game they don't have too many issues winning it back. It's, yes, a little bit harder for them, but in the end, it all comes down to Chasmac Gaming EA lacking the damage to punch through all of that extra health that Moya has to offer. Does need to connect some shots here, though. Kenji's going to have to sit more on the front lines than any other brawler, so they're going to have to come from him. Moya's certainly trying to shift towards him. Does shift gears to get some damage versus Kuru too. It's a free super for him, and he looks for the next one. Crazy Raccoon with one lane taken down and another one falling. Get to sit all over this point, maybe even get a takedown on the right side. That mark is devastating for Kuru, and Crazy Raccoon crossed the 50% threshold.
Yeah, and sadly against Shtetampo, who can read his movement, that grass wasn't helping anybody. Mark's going to be tanked by the speed zone there by Kenji. Nice stuff from him, but I mean, this deficit's becoming a little bit too big for them to come back from. Heals are still there as well from the Da Capo, and the super available too. Tensai gets low, but gets healed up straight away. Shtetampo does go down. Kenji quickly dealt with an 82% to 10, and don't see anything happening from Chasmac Gaming here, and the Jesse turret gets the slow off as well. 10% needed. Burn comes through, but quickly healed by Moya there, and just a little walk on from Shtetampo will finish this one off. Hide behind the Jesse turret, and that's going to be set number 2 going towards that Crazy Raccoon roster, who are going to move 2-1 up now. And Chasmac, their chances, and I'm sure their confidence as well, is slowly dwindling away.
I would imagine so too. And look, it's another day in the office for the Crazy Raccoon guys. They show up, they win, they do whatever for a month, and they show up and they win again. Okay, good stuff for the guys. And they do so with a really good draft too, which is, I think, once again, I mean, we've been saying it all this match, but I'll reiterate, the draft is where Chasmac needs to be sourcing these wins. This is where they need to lean on to get the leg up over these guys, because I think mechanically, you simply don't beat Crazy Raccoon unless you reject, but that's another match. And, well, it's not another day. It's coming up later. But still, Chasmac Gaming EA, they put a really respectable fight up so far. The Poco pick, I think, was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, I maybe did doubt it a little bit, because, you know, having Bell and Jesse in front of you is not the normal Poco route, but just having the heals, and look how much he was able to put out as well. Tensai falls low, instantly heals him back up, but that Jesse turret is so dirty up there. Said, you know, if it gets placed behind the wall, it's probably going to be game over for you. And wherever it's placed, it was really helping them out a lot towards the end there as well, being able to tank so much. And Crazy Raccoon kills, DPS, and the win pretty much all goes their way.
I seriously, when you bring up the idea of the Jesse, the turret being so oppressive too, it kind of brings all of this into perspective. Chasmac Gaming EA started things off saying, well, okay, this is a really good strategy. We want to go the tanky approach. We'll have just a lot of health. It's going to be too much for them to get through. And Crazy Raccoons say, okay, so we're going to pull out the Jesse and the Bell. So have fun with that if you want to continue with it. Chasmac Gaming EA completely pivots, and then Crazy Raccoon kind of copies their homework and picks up even more stuff to make themselves tanky. It's a nice little yoink and twist from Crazy Raccoon that earns them the victory in that draft and therefore the set. And Chasmac Gaming EA are going to have to find a way to conceal their playbook a little bit better from Crazy Raccoon in the following sets.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to need more from Chasmac Gaming if they want to be able to win this one. They need 2 in a row, and they've got to start here on Flaring Phoenix in knockout, or they'll be knocked out of the competition in the semi-finals, and we can't reiterate enough how much of a big opportunity this is for Chasmac Gaming. Aphelion not making it to the semis, Aphelion in that LCQ spot at the moment in 3rd place, and Chasmac are wanting that spot. 2 sets in a row is what would put them above them this month, and looking good going on to the last. But Crazy Raccoon looking like they're probably going to shut that idea down. But with Cordelius going Chasmac's way, I start liking the chances a little bit more.
Same here, though. I mean, reminder for everyone, this is knockout, and a lot of times those long-range brawlers are favored. Though, as we start to examine some of the terrain here, I can see some areas where Cordelius might be able to make some moves. If you're able to sort of hide behind some of these walls, and you can get some good value. Also, having that super that... Reminder, it goes through walls. It goes through walls, and you get to take someone to the Shadow Realm where you have serious buffs in that 1v1 matchup. I like Chasmac Gaming EA's selection of Cordelius here. I think Crazy Raccoon might have overseen this, or maybe they don't think it's too much of a threat. I mean, really, those are the 2 options. So far, though, the RT and the Bonnie are going to be really tanky options that might be a bit beefier for Cordelius to chew through. Chasmac Gaming EA have a couple more selections to go with here. Bonnie, RT selected on the opposite side. 2 fairly long-range brawlers with a whole lot of health. Bell is always an option. Tick is their selection, though. Might see the approach of a thrower being picked on the opposite side. Can absolutely see the Grom. Can also see the Sprout selected on the side of Crazy Raccoon.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I really do like this pick of the Cordelius usually, but against these long-range brawlers from Crazy Raccoon, I just don't know if it's going to be able to get the super end of. If Bonnie jumps on him, maybe he's going to have a bit of a chance. But Tick, I like that answer from Chasmac Gaming. I think it's very, very solid, and a Gus as well. Can provide a shield to Cordelius and allow him to get into those aggressive positions, which I think is a great choice as well.
Okay, Crazy Raccoon, they have the Gus combined with the Cordelius awaiting them on the other side. What is their final selection? Keep in mind, they're still going to be facing into that Tick. There are a lot of things to address here, and I really feel like there's maybe a best brawler. There's always going to be a best brawler, but there's not going to be something that can address all of this. Is there? They have a few different throws they can select from, but they don't go with any of them. The Squeak is their selection. They'll try and keep things at range. I do think that Cordelius might be fast enough to sort of move around some of these shots from Moya, drain his ammo gradually, and that's where it comes for Tensai and Stetampo once again to help out on that lane. They also, I don't see really too much to deal with the Tick, so this could be quite frustrating for them to deal with.
Yeah, there really isn't, other than that Bonnie, if she can get jump. And I mean, I imagine we're just going to probably be seeing Chasmac try to stay out the way of Crazy Raccoon until that late game starts to come in, and then we might see a little bit more aggression coming in from them. Obviously, Tick's going to be able to be quite suppressive down at least one of those lanes, possibly 2 if he can spam hard enough, but I'm not sure. I feel like it's probably Crazy Raccoon sided, but there's obviously some glimmers of hope for Chasmac if they can make the right plays.
All right, well, let's see it. Kent G taking the right lane so far. A lot of times we will see Tick at the mid area, but right lane is a great place for him to keep up some of that control. Little lane swap here as Tensai moves on to the right and Stetampo over to mid, but they forfeit a lot of area in the meantime. Obviously, Captain, no, little ring around the rosy here. Stetampo and Tensai continuously trade these lanes and maybe try and bait Chasmac Gaming EA to go a bit more aggressive, looking to get some easy picks before the real team fight ensues. Moya also stays way far behind, maybe trying to leverage some of that tankiness for the end of the game, as Crazy Raccoon are a very tanky assembly of brawlers with their comp they've decided to go with.
Yeah, I mean, Shatampo's starting to slide up, but with that head coming down, it did take a lot of his ammo. The knockback's there, straight into a couple of shots, but he's not going to go down. Icy coming in now as well, gets the mute off, but 3v1, it's going to be a lot for Kuru, but does hide behind this wall. Tries to find one, but he's not even going to do that. Not going to get much towards his super either, just trying to prevent the squeak from getting his. I don't mind it, but also at the same time, in the late game, that's where you expect Chasmac to excel, not really lose.
Yeah, Chasmac Gaming EA, they're trying to play a slow game here. The Crazy Raccoon seem to be better at that than even Chasmac Gaming EA. The Cordelius also now shifting over to the right lane. It's certainly going to change things up. Will it change things for the better is really the big question to be answered in, at this rate, probably an entire minute. As things are seriously slowing down to a snail's pace. Gradually getting the supers up. Kenji looking for the next one. Cordelius on the right side, just waiting for the perfect time to strike. Shitetampo holding on to that ammo. Being very conservative with it. Doesn't want to get caught lacking on this lane.
Finally, Kenji's starting to shoot this right side now, but Moya's going to be able to slot the mid thanks to his low ammo. We see a little rotation coming in from Cordelius through this mid. Might be able to find Moya here as he thinks he's on the right. Going to get the gadget so he can't jump out. Nice move from him, gets the kill as well. Kuru's going to have that shield to tank a few more shots, but Shatampo gets the super off and it makes no connections, but the follow-ups do. Tensai's still there, but he brings him into the Shadow Realm, takes him down, and that's what we want to see from IC. No pun intended there with the C, but they do manage to win the round.
That was so brilliant from Chasmac Gaming EA. There's not really another way that I can think to put it. The target prioritization was just stellar. There were obvious 1v1 matchups to be taken there, but they seem to be calling the shots. It's all focused on that right lane, and then we'll take RT last. It ended up working out. It did look a little bit dicey at points, too. So it's a really good thing that they work together as a team to take down those enemies one by one. No divide and conquer here. It's all about coordinating on one precise target. Shitetampo's going to need some more damage here. Tensai even has to chime in to help. It's a good thing he did go for that lane swap. Otherwise, Shitetampo would have been a dead man. It would have been a 3v2, but the 3v3 continues on with no clear party in the lead. Shitetampo does take a lot of damage, though. The only super also being for Kuru. Yeah, flash that super for a moment. He's got some mischievous ideas. Tensai taking a lot of damage and an unfortunate 1v1 victory on the left side. Moya also taken down by IC, and Shitetampo also sent to the Shadow Realm. The chain supers come through for IC, and it's a game victory for Chasmac Gaming EA.
I mean, this is getting a little bit sketchy for Crazy Raccoon now. One game away from taking this to a set number 5, and Chasmac Gaming are looking exceptional in those last couple of games. When we started to see a bit of supercharge coming up from IC especially, and definitely in that last game where he cycled that one out and got 2 kills with it, was really, really nice. But it was that first round where CR just played a little bit passive and actually won the late game that mattered. If they can do that again a couple of times, they'll be able to even this one out.
Well, Crazy Raccoon need to think about some ways to sort of change the pace of this match, as Chasmac Gaming EA seem to have things all within their control. We'll see IC move over to the left side. He is marked by Tensai. It'll go away in 10 entire seconds because RT is just like that. But shouldn't be too much of an issue. The lane swap is actually good. Kenji, now with some attacks forward, has a super as well to create some pressure. Maybe even afford an opportunity for Chasmac Gaming EA to push up if things look a little bit stressful or if they get pushed back quite a bit. Shitetampo's also taking a different approach. Now, moving more towards the mid area. Crazy Raccoon are using anything they can think of in the playbook to give themselves an edge here.
Yeah, the residue's there, but I'm not sure how much it'll do. The tick head comes down, and it's going to be wasted again, but it soaked up a few shots, and that's allowing Kuru to push through. Gets the gadget off as well. Shield also, but the Moya's going to stay up. The knockback's still there. Straight into Cordelius' hands, but he's not going to be able to get the kill just yet. The gas will take one, but there's no escaping Tensai here. Has the ability to drop his legs as well, and the first round goes the way of Crazy Raccoon once again. But it's the same story as last time. They did this in the first, and Chasmac won the next 2.
Very close 1v1 there between Kuru and Moya on the left lane. Really came down to reload speed to determine the victor over there, with Moya coming out on top. But really, Chasmac Gaming EA have gotten some sort of micro dubs in the process. They got the Cordelia super, which is really the main feature of this guy's kit. A lot of pressure being created on the right side. Tensai also trying to push them out, or at least go for a pinch. Moya and Shitetampo would obviously like to come around the right side here with Tensai keeping them down, some suppressing fire towards the top. We'll see if they back out, but for now they seem to be focusing down Gus. Emergency super pop, that one's gonna hurt, but IC tries to lunge in versus Moya. He's able to escape, but IC is gonna go for the chain super. He might actually. Here comes the tick super on the left, and they've got them all pressured into the left side. A nice save there. IC sending things to the Shadow Realm. Moya still able to stay alive. Good kill for Kenji. IC tries to lock him into the Shadow Realm, but a good kill for Tensai. Kenji once more trying to stay alive, but it's an easy win for Tensai. And Crazy Raccoon take us to match point.
I mean, it's a good look at match point for Crazy Raccoon, but I can't help but feel that maybe we should have seen more from IC there when the Cordelius. He locked a couple of them in the Shadow Realm, had great opportunities to get kills, but we didn't see any come through on the kill feed, which is a little bit difficult for him. I feel like we should have seen more there from Chasmac Gaming. They've definitely got a possibility of being able to win this one. It is now either going to a set number 5 or it's going the way of Crazy Raccoon.
I mean, they do have debatably the strongest brawler in the game on their side. So a lot of responsibility falls on rookie IC's shoulders. And he's gotten some good plays off. It was actually pretty clutch that he was able to get his super at the end of the second round that game. Even still, though, Chasmac Gaming EA, tricky situation, unfortunate, as we see Kuru gets hit by that Blom from Stetampo, and then it gets passed on to Tick on the left side. This is going to be an easy win for Crazy Raccoon in the very first round. It's really just down to IC to try and pick up that incredibly powerful super.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a tough one. I don't think he's going to be able to get it too much range on the side of Crazy Raccoon, and you kind of got to weigh it up, whether or not feeding all 3 of their supers is more valuable than just having one of your own, and it seems like it is, because he's not heading into the gas just yet, but gets hit hard by pretty much everybody on the side of Crazy Raccoon, and now it's just everything, point, game, set, match, round, all on the side of Crazy Raccoon.
A lot more to lose here. Every death is permanent for the round and knockout. And if this is a Crazy Raccoon round win, then every single death on Chasmac Gaming EA side is permanent for the rest of the match. They have to work with what little they have here. 2 supers, but no Cordelius super is really the killer for them here. Kenji's getting some good control on the right side. Stetampo also keeping things nice and clear at mid. IC being gradually forced out too. Just a little bit of control. IC thinks of committing. Here it comes. The silence on a Tensai and follow-up with the tick bombs is good. It's a kill on a Crazy Raccoon. And the 3v2 ensues.
Yeah, I mean, he was thinking of committing, and it was the right choice as well. Jump comes through from Moya. Is he going to be able to get the trade? Actually gives him a super for the next round. That is not good from CR. You kind of got to argue whether or not it was better just for them, both of them, to just walk into the gas and accept defeat rather than feeding that for the next round. Stetampo looking to try and avoid Kenji's super here, but not going to be able to get it just yet. Steps into the gas, accepts defeat, and now this is a big, big round for both teams.
Well, we've been here before, though. The final round of the game. IC equipped with the super. So much responsibility falling on his shoulders. But as we saw in that last round, that one shot from Squeak, who's a little indecisive, but ended up going for it in the end, got the mute on Tomoya, and the rest is history. But still recent memory. Chasmac Gaming EA had to make the most of these few supers they have, lest they want to become history too. Crazy Raccoon still keeping control. And a super for every single member of Chasmac Gaming EA puts him in a great position for the rest of this round.
Oh, Moya stepped out of line there, and IC's going to take advantage of that. Gets the shots off, should be able to get another super, but only just gets the kill. Tensai should even things out, but not going to get it. The knockback stops him from catching it. Nice stuff coming in from Chasmac Gaming. They sweep this one up, and they're going to set 5. Chasmac Gaming don't give up yet. Play it perfectly all the way through that last game. And now, Crazy Raccoon are on the ropes.
Oh boy, this has me on the edge of my seat. What a match that we've seen so far. I mean, it's just stellar from Chasmac Gaming EA, and good stuff from CR2. But this is what we really expect from CR. Not that we don't expect greatness from Chasmac Gaming EA, but we don't, on a normal day, expect them to take down the titans that are Crazy Raccoon. What a match this has been, and I'm sure it's only going to get that much more interesting as we progress towards the final set. There's nothing beyond there. No light at the end of the hallway, just a winner and a loser, and the winner progressing on to the grand finals. But Crazy Raccoon, this has been a pretty good performance from them in every single set so far, maybe except for that very first one. But Chasmac Gaming EA really did pull all of the stops out towards the end of this set.
And we've got to remember as well, it's not just, you know, Chasmac who are going to benefit so much from this, but Reject are going to be dreaming for it as well. They want this to go the way of Chasmac Gaming, to keep on the heels of Crazy Raccoon and not have them kind of run away with these points. So it's big for both of these teams, so influential here, and lovely plays coming out of Chasmac Gaming in this last one here. They just seem so composed, and I mean, you've got to give the MVP to IC. But at the end of the day, you know, it's kind of just the patience. 8 kills going towards that man, and that's just the patience we see coming out of him. 94 DPS with 8 kills. That's massive, but I mean, to be honest, Crazy Raccoon, their DPS is a little bit worse, and obviously have less kills as well, but that is massive coming from IC there.
That is so huge. I mean, obviously a very good pickup for the roster. And he's on cam too, just nothing seems to phase this guy. But we're going in a pinhole punt as the very last set. And you want to talk big picture, I mean, yes, this is good for Reject if it's a win for CMG, but also it's obviously good for CMG. This would be huge in their race to make it to number 3 in the region. It would give them a nice leg up over a feeling, or at least get them that much closer to overtaking them in the points category, especially with a feeling not making it to the top 4 this month. So a lot on the line for Chasmac Gaming EA. And Crazy Raccoon, they've pretty much already locked in. In fact, they have locked in LCQ just by making it to the top 4 this month. So obviously they want to go straight to the Worlds, but there's less for them to lose than I think for Chasmac Gaming EA. They're going to LCQ. Chasmac Gaming EA has nothing certain yet.
Oh no. Or just as I thought Chasmac Gaming were going to start coming back, we see a Shelly first pick and Cordelia's banned out. There's not really much of a reply to this one. Looking very good for Crazy Raccoon now, and that just shows how good Shelly is, having this kind of reaction of one pick and not seeing the rest of the draft. But I mean, just because of that, Crazy Raccoon have instantly got a bit of a leg up here. Chasmac Gaming EA are going to need to answer with something very, very good. Bans being Poco, Nita, and Cordelia on the other side. So clearly that's what they're targeting towards Chasmac Gaming. We're going to see an Ems come through. I don't hate it. I actually kind of like it. Ems is a pretty good pick on the majority of Brawl maps now.
And Ems is actually exactly the response that we saw into Shelly earlier on in the day, and it seemed to be pretty effective considering that, well, the Shelly team didn't take a win and the Ems team won. So I think Chasmac Gaming EA very deliberately left that Shelly pick open, if not just banning out stuff that they thought was more worthwhile to get rid of than the Shelly. So Crazy Raccoon, also look at this. They've pretty much not gone all in, but they've committed to the possibility of getting Shelly here. They've gotten rid of Cordelia's. Okay, yeah, but they also got rid of Nita, who is a big problem for Shelly to deal with. Chasmac Gaming EA, they also have gone for the Otis, yet another Shelly counter. You have that mute, and all of a sudden, Shelly is just a moving target and a free super battery for you to charge your next mute off of.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough matchup for Shelly there as well, but the last time we saw these two brawlers face, obviously the Ems and Shelly, it was on a bit more of a favourable map for the Ems. We'll see what Crazy Raccoon go with next. 2 seconds until their next pick. It's going to be Stu. I like it. Bit of manoeuvrability there, and obviously able to do pretty well against the Ems, weaving in and out of those shots, getting close and taking less damage, or just staying at that max range and staying out of the damage altogether. It's obviously a pretty good pick from Chasmac Gaming as well. Kind of shuts down the possible future for any tanks that Crazy Raccoon might bring out, but also I don't think they really want to take any tanks, even if they didn't have those counters. So we'll see what this last pick is going to be, and then we're back over to Chasmac for their last 2.
Okay, Crazy Raccoon, final selection coming in just a few seconds. The Tara from Crazy Raccoon. So this is really a tall order. You got to have something that is able to pierce through those shades. Looks like Ems is already able to do that, but a bit more versatility across the team would certainly help. You don't want to play musical lanes if you're picking up what I'm putting down throughout the game. Also, who is the mid for Chasmac Gaming EA? I would definitely put my chips on Ems taking that role, and Crazy Raccoon are probably going to have a nice time firing down upon her, lest there be a pretty optimal brawler as a last selection. This is the big ticket item for Chasmac Gaming EA, and Sandy is the approach that they take. Now, we've seen Sandy go up in popularity a decent amount recently, especially because Vision Gear no longer affects his super. That's been in place for like a couple of months now. Really, the big thing that holds Sandy back is his range. In fact, I believe he's outranged by every single one of these brawlers, but it's the indestructibles and the regular walls that are going to be a big advantage for him here, as long as he's able to use them effectively on the lane.
It's going to be very tough for Atara here against Ems, Otis, and Sandy. Those shades are really going to not be doing too much, and she's just going to need this big explosive play. And I think we need to see a lot from Shelly, even though she doesn't have the best matchups either. CMG not looking bad right now. Clay Pigeon off the start, not finding any shots at the moment. Eventually one onto Kenji, but Shitampo almost burns down straight away. He's not even using the shades. Going to be taking that vision.
All right. Seems to have gotten them some decent control of mid so far. Moy and Shitampo combined forces. Easy takedown on the wall and a kill finished off with the Clay Pigeons. Kenji also with no super to shut things down versus the Shelly. Isn't too much of a counter. We'll see IC be able to shove that ball in the back right pocket. And Chasmac Gaming EA need to regroup, reorganize the lanes, and somehow figure out a way to punch through these bushes at mid. As long as Kuru isn't fed a super, then Crazy Raccoon are in a great position because no one will be able to get visibility on these bushes. Even Kenji throws down that fat splatter to try and get some value, but it's just not going to work. A missed super for Kenji 2 is also going to hurt, and it also affords a little bit more aggression for Shitampo should he want to go over to that right side.
I mean, it's a bit optimistic, that mute, I feel there. You know, Moy could have dashed out the way even if it was coming towards him, and that's going to be a goal there for CR. Difficult stuff for them now, and once they lose control, they're not going to be able to gain it back, especially with that Tara super looming in there. Moy's going to dash forward early on, get the super back. Vision popped as well to keep them out of this grass. And IC just waiting it out, trying to get value off his super against Shitampo here, and he's really going to need it as they need some play here.
Can definitely see this ball being supered straight up mid, so Chasmac Gaming EA got to find a better place to stow that. Tensai goes for the pull, no value there. No value off the constant charisma on the left side from IC. He's going to get in close quarters, some close combat from Moya and Shitampo as they look to keep these guys behind the obstacle, or at least want to go for that kill. Good stuff from Kuru, though. He's even got the super, and he thought about using it, but they might be able to get the goal the old-fashioned way. Kuru has a nice stun if he wants it. A lot of damage in from Kuru, but it's not quite enough. Moya taken down. And an easy goal for Chasmac Gaming EA, though definitely earned the hard way. Good visibility for Tensai, everyone visible now in the midst of all of this sandstorm. 25 seconds remain. Kuru and Kenji combined on the right side. Not too much value so far. They look to be out of their depth. The way being cleared by Tensai. An easy goal in with a team wipe. And Crazy Raccoon take us to match point.
I mean, I thought we were going to see more from Chasmac as soon as they did save that sandstorm, got the goal anyway. But that vision from Tara definitely coming in clutch there. Great decision to bring that in. The shot, the shades would have got no value anyway. So great choice to bring that through and kind of completely negate that Sandy super. And they did a great job of scouting through it anyway. We'll see if Chasmac Gaming have got an answer, or if Crazy Raccoon will take this as they're on match point.
All right, well, early aggression from Tensai isn't going to pay off, at least immediately. They'll be a bit closer to getting that super, maybe getting some better control of it. Good use of the super from IC around the left side. Shitampo going to get taken down. Moya also at risk of falling. Kuru goes for the stun. There it is, an early goal from Kuru. And Chasmac Gaming EA lead the score on Crazy Raccoon's match point.
Much better, but look at the supers ready now for Crazy Raccoon. They've got the Tara super, they've got the Shelly super. Scouted out though by IC, and he's actually going to find Tensai and get the kill, traded at least by CR. Fat Splatter comes down on that left-hand side, but the mute is available as well. Shitampo going to walk back onto that and actually pop his own band-aid. I'm not sure if that was kind of intentional or not, but mute's there, and vision is as well by Tensai, and he's still got that super. Muted out though and stops that Clay Pigeon value all in all. IC's going to go down there and retreat to the back lines now as CMG not in the best spot. Moya's going to break down those walls. Kuru's still got the mute. The stun, he can't get it off. Shitampo gets the ball and evens it out, and now one goal is all the Crazy Raccoon needs to take the game.
It's huge for Chasmac Gaming EA to possibly grace past this match as a victor and earn a lot of points and shut down Crazy Raccoon. An unexpected underdog victory. The Crazy Raccoons still persist. Moya looks so strong on the right side. Shitampo powers through on the left with a super. Tensai has the super in tow. Here it comes, the double suck. Kuru and Kenji fall 1-2. And Moya has the super up the right side. It's good. And Crazy Raccoon are going on to the grand finals.
I mean, congratulations to them. That's absolutely devastating for Chasmac Gaming. They came into this one as the heavy underdogs, even though they were very confident, and sad for IC that he didn't pull through with his confidence. But at the end of the day, they took Crazy Raccoon to a set number 5, and not many teams can say that they've done that at the end of the day.
Well, if you were tired of seeing Crazy Raccoon win, then I've got some news for you. They did take the match, but we saw them fall numerous times in a couple of sets, in a good number of games too. So I'll give CMG EA credit where credit is due. Good work versus Crazy Raccoon, but the story continues on for Crazy Raccoon, and the journey of CMG EA is cut a bit shorter than they'd hoped for.
And that's just so difficult for Chasmac Gaming to accept this defeat, because this was their moment. This is what they needed to be able to pull through. And now it's all coming down to the last month for them and that third place battle against Aphelion Esports, who in the future might do a bit better than the fourth place that they did get this month. But in the end, Crazy Raccoon come out on top yet again, head to the finals, and are in the contention for winning yet another monthly final. Chasmac Gaming defeated and out. But I do think it was deserved by Crazy Raccoon at the end of the day, as much as I hope to see Chasmac Gaming pull off a bit of an upset. The stats back it up also.
Stats certainly scream a Crazy Raccoon W here, and, well, you'd be correct there if you were just going by the stats. But for Chasmac Gaming EA, we still see IC in the lead here. Now, not a whole lot of data to go by here, since collectively it's only 6 kills for their roster. But IC has definitely been the guy to keep your eye on today. And we did, literally earlier, he was the one on the cams. Really brave stuff to do here as a rookie on the roster. Make such bold claims. Back it up almost 100% of the way, and still managed to pull off a serious performance. But unfortunately, not all of that, even in sum total, gets you the victory. It's still Crazy Raccoon in the lead, and their MVP, of course, is Tampo.
It's got to be, right? That's just how it is. It's the main man. On a roster of main men, he's the main man. And he always will be. Crazy Raccoon pull it off, and Tampo being the MVP. Big performance from out of him. But I think from all of the team as well. Crazy Raccoon, it's a team effort in what has been, you know, a Tampo focused roster in the past. They all really do come together and focus up to be able to get these wins on the board. And, you know, you're going to need all 3 players all in unison to be able to beat a team like Chasmac Gaming like that.
I mean, wonderful performance, really, from both teams, but the victor in the end is Crazy Raccoon, and they go on to the grand finals, and I hope you got that prediction locked in for Crazy Raccoon, because you can get some awards on event.brawlstars.com, get some in-game goodies, whether it's resources, coins, bling that you want, or getting a cool spray, I believe, that you can throw down and flex on your opponents that weren't doing their due diligence, doing their homework, and watching the Brawl Esports streams. So do that, put in your predictions for the next match, because we're going to be heading right into it. No time for breaks, all gas, no breaks. Reject and 3R Gaming go head-to-head in a bit of an unexpected matchup. A lot of us expected to see Aphelion Esports throwing down here in the semifinals, but 3R Gaming takes their place, and they've been doing fairly well the year-round so far. So a fitting matchup in the semifinals. But Reject, a familiar face that we have come to know and love, especially when it comes to grand final stuff too. So